Hi, I'm Candace Hunter from The Practical Herbalist. And earlier today, I was in the process of shooting a video for the Herbal Learn Society about making herbal honeys. And as a part of making a good herbal infused honey, especially if you're using fresh plant material, you end up with this plant material at the end that it's hard to just throw it in the compost because it's got so much tasty honey on it. So I shared with them this tip.
All right, I was talking with you guys when we were making the infused honey about what to do with your leftover herbs because they're going to be filled with honey and that honey is still really good. So what I do with it is I make a tea, and if it's winter time, I'll do this with a teapot and boiling water, and if it's summertime, I will do it with what I consider to be like a hybrid version. So first of all, we get a jar that's big enough and that can hold the honey, or that will hold all the herbs. I still have some stuff left over, some honey left over on my bowl from before. So I'm going to put all of that in there. I have this kettle that I have just boiled water in. And this is where the hybriding comes in. We're using boiled water, which is not necessarily awesome for honey, but it's really good at getting honey off of things. So I'm going to use the hot water. You can see how I'm just sort of scraping the sides and stirring it in so the water gets as filled with honey as I can make it. I'll pour that in. I'm going to set this. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here, and I'm going to pour through the strainer a little bit, because when you strain it, you'll notice that oftentimes the bottom still has some residual honey. So we'll do that, and I will set that over there. And then I'm also going to take the honey that, that dripped out, and put that in there, because we want this tea to be nice and sweet and yummy. Okay, put this here. And again, I'll stir that out. Yes, I'm going to great lengths to use all this honey, in part because these were local bees that produced this for me, and I really want to respect them and thank them for it, but in part because I'm greedy and I love the honey. It tastes so good in there. All right. So we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to pour in, I've got a half a cup here of black tea. So I think, I'm trying to remember does it say here? Approximately 125 milliliters of black tea by volume. And this is a harsh black tea, like a English breakfast style. This particular one is in Assam. So I'm going to pour in a little bit more hot water into my mixture here, just to make sure that black tea has a chance to really get good breaking of the cells in the beginning of the infusion. Then I'm going to top off with some filtered water, which is just cool. It's not particularly iced. I don't want to keep my honey at a really high temperature right now, but I did want to start the process. So this is the jar, the sides of the jar now feel warm, but not hot. So it's probably about just a couple degrees above body temperature, maybe 3 or 4 degrees. So now I'm gonna cover this. I'll have to get a cover, but I'm gonna cover this and let it stand. And I'll let it stand on the counter probably 3 or 4 hours before I strain it and drink it. So that is what I do with my leftover herbs after I've made an infused honey.
All right. You saw how easy it was to take that plant material and turn it into a delicious cup of tea. This particular tea is really sweet because there's actually a surprising amount of honey that is left over in the plant material. I say anytime you make an herbal infused honey, use it to make tea. You can do it with hot tea as well. Just pretty much do the same thing, but put it in your tea kettle, or teapot rather, and then just use warm or hot water to make it. So if you're interested in getting more tips like this and learning more practical and useful tips for or ways to make herbalism a part of your daily life, pop on over to thepracticalherbalist.com and join the Herbal Nerd Society. We have fun articles and activities every single month for society members that include all of our practical and honestly truly effective ways to use herbs and plant medicines, not only to care for your family and yourself when you're ill, but also to help prevent illness. So go to thepracticalherbalist.com, check out our articles, and join the Herbal Nerd Society today.